I'm Vladimir Pushka, and today we are going to speak with fellow comrade about Russia's greatest years of powers, the day under our great and glorious leader, Joseph Stalin. It were the years of true communism, when men were men, women were women, and vodka was life. I was but a young child at the time, barely had any hair on my own chest. But those were some of the fondest memories of my life. I killed moose aplenty, ran through the woods like a wild man, and wrestled my first bear. It was, how you say, joyous, but annoying to me. It was also a time of great trouble for our nation. A time when enemies and filth polluted our government with their weakness. Still, our government leader Stalin persisted and once again brought our great country to its rightful place as puny America's greatest threat. So today, I'm going to recreate this glorious era for all of you foolish and weak Americans. I'm going to recreate the Stalin Purges. Now, to help me truly show the effects of Stalin's purifying mustache, I'm here today joined by Olaf Kashikov, a traitorous ex-NKVD official who was accused by Stalin for arresting and executing the true children of Mother Russia. So, Olaf, can you tell me exactly what the story is behind this accusation?
First, let me just start off by saying that I was not alone in this problem. Many of the top-ranked officials that were part of the NKVD were also being blamed for the killing of innocent people, like you said. However, we are only following the orders of Stalin to follow through with the purges. Apparently, he now finds us a threat because we know too much.
So, do I have it correct when I say that the NKVD is the group that carried out the killings of those that Stalin felt threatened by?
Yes, that's exactly it. The NKVD was like the secret police force of Stalin, and we did all his dirty work.
Besides carrying out the execution orders of Stalin, what else did the NKVD do?
The group informed Stalin of any people that may have been plotting against him or opposing his ways. We also were responsible for torturing people, both mentally and physical, to gain certain information. And then that information could later be used to find more people against Stalin. For the public trials, the NKVD made sure that the verdict was always guilty at the end of them. So the trials were basically made to create the illusion of a fair system, when in reality it was completely rigged.
So, all of these trials were set up against the defendant?
Exactly. They were all for show. Behind the scenes of some trials, the NKVD would force the defendant to sign a confession stating that he is guilty of the crimes. Most public trials were rehearsed ahead of time as well. The script was created and the actors would do their jobs.
That is very, how you say, shocking information that the government was concealing so much from the public eye. What would receive and who would receive these set of trials?
Most of the time, it was the well-known people that received the public trials. Some famous names include Kamenev, Bukharin, and Zinoviev. Kamenev and Zinoviev were accused of planning to kill Stalin, and Bukharin was accused of treason. They were actually all just people that Stalin found as a threat to his power. After the end of their show trials, they were executed, which was planned the whole time. I myself faced a trial that was predetermined from the start. It was only through my knowledge of the fact that I was able to escape custody.
Who else was brought up to these set of trials?
The first people arrested were supporters of Trotsky and were known as Trotskyites. They were kept in the prisons of the NKVD, and very few survived those horrible living conditions in the cells. Alongside the conditions, the NKVD officials would torture the people and make the survivors of prison sign confession papers for the crimes. To get them to sign, we would promise them better living conditions. However, by admitting guilty, they basically signed their own execution papers. Oh no, they found me. I must get out.
Running into technical difficulties, but strong Russian men handle it. Do not change the channel, you stupid Americans, or I will hunt you down like Great Wolf. Now a message from our great leader. Sorry for inconvenience, sir. A truly inspiring quote, though. And with us now is a man who has lived through the violence, has seen his fill of it. He's a local farmer, a loving family man, and a notorious drunk, who witnessed the bloody death of his entire family. Welcome, Yuri Matslevsky. It's nice to see you.
Thank you for having me, Vlad.
Oh, so I understand that you've seen your fair share of violence back in the day. Can you tell us something about it?
Well, first, I would like to say that the government was entirely at fault. They just showed up to innocent people's houses and killed them for no reason other than for failing to fulfill their quota. I used to see government officials, walking around in big coats like this. No doubt hiding weapons, almost always heading to or away from another target. However, it wasn't until 1934 that I myself was targeted. It was that year that they killed my family. I was out in the fields and able to run away, but my family was not as lucky as I was. And it's all because of that stupid decree that Stalin signed. The law made families responsible for the crimes committed by their father or husband.
That is just horrible. I've come close to death on 3 occasions. And all while I had vodka to numb the pain. It was still pretty bad. I cannot imagine actually dying, let alone having to live in fear of it. That is because I fear nothing. Nothing! Now I understand that the growing violence forced you to relocate for a few years. What was that like?
Well, it's really inconvenient, with my family dead and nothing but the clothes on my back and a big coat like this. Seeking refuge was quite a challenge. The only place that would take me was a new mining community out in the middle of nowhere, I was forced to work for hours a day and barely earned any money. But a job was all I had. And eventually, I turned to vodka and I ended up right here.
That is such a shame. So sad to see a good Russian man rid of all possessions. And I would love to hear more about your story, but it seems we are out of time.
Well, Vlad, I thank you for your time, and I do...
I said we are out of the times. Now get out. We are now joined by Helga Yerlimov, a woman whose husband was one of the people purged. Welcome, Helga.
Thank you, Vladimir. Yes, it is true. My husband, Didov, was one of the best tailors in Russia. One day, while walking on the street with Didov and my children, a couple of large men who worked for the government grabbed Didov and brought him to the courthouse. The children and I arrived in the courthouse just in time to hear his sentence and to see him be executed. After that, I grabbed the children and we fled. I knew that Stalin would eventually find a reason to execute me.
You said that you heard the sentence. What was it? Why was Didov targeted?
They said that Didov didn't make the right quota for his clothing. They said that he wasn't working enough and he was planning to overthrow the government just because he was late on a few pieces of clothing. The trial was very strange. It seemed like everyone knew how the trial was going to end. Everyone seemed to know what Didov's sentence would be. It was almost rehearsed or something.
That is truly terrible.
Yes, it is. The children and I have remained in hiding for many years. We felt as if there was always someone watching us. Our whole lives changed when Didov was murdered. I wasn't even sure about coming to talk to you, but I am glad I came. I think that everyone should know what happened.
Well, Helga, thank you for your time, but it appears we are out of it. Tune in next week, all you filthy Americans, to see our new special about proper beard care. Or else! I was but a younger pisscock at the time. Pisscock. I just feel so pisscock.
Mario. Yes, that's exactly it. I don't.
Pisscock.
Signed their own execution papers.
Yeah, cut it now, because this...
houses, and they killed them for no reason to fulfill their... I didn't see it.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. No doubt hiding weapons, and almost always heading towards another target. That was retarded. And killed them for not following to fulfill their... It's alright if I slur though, because I was drunk. Well, first, I would like to thank... Killed them for no reason other than to fulfill their quota.
Yeah, I get
Pithcock.
Or husband.
That is just horrible. But go to the... Can I just start over now?
And that he was conspiracized? Yes.
Well, Helga, we thank you for your time. Don't problem.
Audio.
That he was
It's alright if I slur though, because I was drunk.
Pithcock.